G'day everyone, I'm man called Kemosabe, the man with the plan from the land down under, and he did it. The crazy bastard actually did it. Erik Larsen, formerly famous comic creator of Savage Dragon, probably the best image title of the 90s, now just famous for badly drawn porn and bad political takes online, has actually done what he said he would. He left Twitter because this guy bought it. I'll be honest, I didn't think he would. It'll be interesting to see just how long he's gone and what justification he gives for when he returns. There's a lot of blue check marks and click famous celebrities threatening to leave before the buyout happened, as if that would change the outcome. There's a lot less of them talking about leaving now that it actually has happened, but there's still a few. Mick Foley, a living legend of pro wrestling and one of the toughest guys to ever compete in the sport, in terms of damage taken at least, is saying the same sort of things, seriously thinking about leaving Twitter. I'm not making this video to debate what free speech is or what makes up free speech. Free speech is good, it's that simple. Never have the good guys been in favour of censorship, and curtailing free speech is just that. I'm a big fan of the TV show The Mentalist. Simon Baker's portrayal of Patrick Jane was a rare instance of a new archetype, a new class of character being minted. It's really rare. Captain Jack Sparrow was another example. It doesn't happen as often. Most characters are rehashes of other characters. Some critics said something along the lines of, Jack Sparrow is the first genuine, unique new hero in 21st century cinema. He posited that there were no other new types of heroes in the 21st century before Captain Jack. He might be right. Baker didn't write Patrick Jane, but it was his portrayal of the material that led to the creation of this intense and engaging character. I had the misfortune of watching Simon Baker in an interview one time. This guy, this actor, who portrayed this super smart, manipulative, genius-level, self-destructive investigator, a character who usually solved intense whodunits with a few suggestive words, couldn't string together 3 words. He ummed and ahed his way through the whole thing and admitted he'd rather be off surfing. Not long after that, I saw him accept an award for excellence in Australian cinema, and he gave this eloquent, moving, humble speech. Not a single misspoken syllable. The pacing, the tone, the delivery was perfect. It was a great performance. A great performance. We can't expect these people to be geniuses, to be the characters they portray. Mick Foley, again, living legend of wrestling, loved and respected more than 40 years in the business. He is a genius when it comes to wrestling, pacing, gimmicks, storylines, getting heat, putting on a good show, putting asses in seats. He's written several New York Times bestsellers himself, not ghostwritten like most wrestlers, and they are good books. If you want a crash course in the truth behind the pro wrestling industry, read Foley's first autobiography. The dude is smart, real smart, in the areas where he is smart. In those other areas, don't hold your breath. Stephen King, millionaire bestseller, famous worldwide, could stock whole libraries with just his bibliography alone. Say what you want about his work, but you don't get to his level of success unless you're doing something right, or making the right deals. As a storyteller and a world builder, he is a genius. When it comes to critical thinking, when it comes to thinking for himself, King is, like the aforementioned actors and performers, distinctly at the bottom of the pile. Why are so many blue check marks like this? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. To be a blue check mark, usually, not always, you need to be a right thinker, not someone who is right or someone who is on the right, but someone who espouses the right ideals according to the platform they are espousing them on. It's circular. Think and say what we want on our platform to continue thinking and saying what we want on our platform. Those that don't last long, or they just get shadow banned into obscurity. So we've got 2 options. Either these people who are debatably geniuses in their chosen fields are really dumb as rocks when it comes to critical thinking and thinking for themselves, that their intellect has been numbed and dulled by adherence to groupthink, or it's a performance. It's blueface, lefty blackface to let them fit in and appear to be right thinkers. They wouldn't want the kind of scrutiny that someone like Chris Pratt has faced because he goes to church once a week and dared to publicly talk about Jesus Christ during a Christmas celebration one time. Remember, these people are all performers. Even artists and creators are performers. It's just their creations, their stories and comics and movies and music and books leave them one step removed from the performance itself. They are performers, and all this posturing is just a performance. Their performances have made them popular, rich and relevant, and they know if their opinions go against the groupthink, they will come under attack. Their performances will no longer be popular, and they'll no longer be relevant. And to these narcissists, that's a fate worse than death. But Chemo, the NPC says, what about Erik Larsen? Here's a guy that drove a reasonably popular comic into the ground, from 200,000 issues sold a month to less than 2,000, all to cater to his political whims and gross fetishes. When fans would write in and say, no, Erik, less of this and more of that please, he'd tell them to, quite literally, fuck off, and do what he wanted anyway. He's a true artist, one who performs for the art, not the profit. He certainly could have made different creative choices, and Savage Dragon would have remained more popular, relevant, and financially viable than it has. But I remember in the 2000s when Erik Larsen said that Savage Dragon was enough to pay his bills. He sold enough copies under Image's contracts to cover his and his family's living expenses. I mean, that's the dream right there. Surely no man would endanger his family's well-being by jamming fetish porn and bad political takes no one wanted into a superhero comic. Well, you see, a while ago, Erik Larsen secured the Chief Financial Officer job at Image. I guess that regular paycheck gave him the freedom to pursue his other interests, such as shilling for Obama, ham-handed hit pieces on Trump for things he never said, and porn. Lots and lots of porn. Gross, semi-incestuous porn. So even Larsen, who appears to have stuck to his guns, who appears to be a man of his word, still only did what he did when he had that financial security. It's easy to say this stuff when you're guaranteed a paycheck. It always comes down to the money for these people. It's not about artistic integrity, it's not about vision, it's not about free speech versus hate speech. It's about getting paid. It always has been, it always will be. And who pays them? You do. I do. We all do. Until we don't.